How's it going, everyone? Kim Blacktooth here. Thanks for watching. So to follow on from the previous video, this one is going to be solely all about the special cards which have been revealed to us. And there's a lot to get through, so let's get started. The first one is Lacerate. This is a bronze neutral card, so everyone can have this. It looks very monstery, but it's neutral. And its ability is choose a row and remove 2 strength from all non-gold units on that row. It is worth pointing out this is a loyal or disloyal card. You know, you can place it, you can use it on the opponent's side of the board, but you can also use it on your own. So the obvious implications are, if you use weather effects, dealing 2 damage to things that have been reduced will destroy all of them, which is really powerful. You've got things like poor infantry. If they remained unchanged and they're 2 strength, this will kill them all off before they're buffed in any way. But the opposite side of that is there are some uses to doing it on your own side of the board. So the young Berserker for Skellige, for example. This is a 3 strength bronze card. Transform into a young bear if this strength is reduced below its original value, but not destroyed. Normally you'd use Grimace to deal 2 damage to all of your young bears, but failing that, having the Lacerate in your hand along with the young bears gives you the option to weaken them but not destroy them, because it only does 2 damage and they have 3 strength. So taking Lacerate and young bears seems to be a good mix, and there might be other reasons why you might want to weaken your own side. Not many spring to mind, but that's one, and obviously you can use it offensively or defensively for extra strength on your side of the board. So the next special card is the Manticore Venom. This is also a neutral bronze special card. Its ability, choose a non-gold unit and remove 4 strength from all copies of it on its side of the battlefield. So it's important to note, if you're playing a mirror match and you've both got identical units, it'll only remove it from all copies on one side of the board, whichever side you selected. So obviously, probably going to be your opponent's. So yours don't get weakened as well, which is good. So you can seemingly target your own people. I'm not sure if there's any use for that. 4 strength is quite a lot. Now, the one thing that came to mind was the Berserker. It's been changed a bit now. Transform into a bear upon entering the graveyard. It used to be when it got destroyed, and so you'd want to destroy it yourself. But now it seems to turn into a bear whenever it gets put into the graveyard, which is like round end. But if you really need to do it quickly, then Manticore Venom would work quite nicely. But really, yeah, you want to keep it for the opponent, it seems. You want to use it on musters or when they've got a lot of the same unit out. If you've just got, say, raw Redenian Knights, 3 of them, then you get a maximum of 12 strength loss. Some combos like poor infantry, you could potentially get a lot more, but if they promote them, then they're all safe. So I think for the most part, you're generally going to get a maximum of 12. The thing about this is that you can target specific groups of things. So hiding it in the middle, protecting it from Scorch and Epidemic, is not going to work if people run Manticore Venom. So be careful about that. And next special card, Merigold's Hailstorm. This is a silver neutral special card. Create and play a Frost and Rain. So I guess we can start to see that you can play Frost and Rain. It is neutral, so maybe some decks will utilize the ranged row heavily, and this would be a card that they definitely want to use. Now this is different to the Aeromancy, because that can play one of any of the 3, where this plays Frost and Rain. Okay, so there might be some good combos where, I think it was Sarah gets buffed whenever weather cards are played. This would double a, you know, that would trigger it twice, presumably. And yeah, this is quite a powerful card, really, if you're fully focused on the ranged row. And I'm sure there's going to be variations where it focuses on ranged and siege and melee and ranged. So, decent card. I like that they've come up with this idea. Weather seems like it's going to be a really big problem in the future. So following on from the previous special card that we had, called Merigold's Hailstorm, we have White Frost, which is a returning card. It's no longer monsters only. It is a silver neutral special card. Create and play Frost and Fog. So again, the same sort of usability, which is really nice if you're focused on the siege row. So Skellige used to have a lot of siege units. I don't know whether they still have. But yeah, it's good to put in if you're going to use weathers. I think this is, even if you're not planning to use loads of weathers, one weather card can really screw up your opponent. And so if you're focused on one particular row, you might want to place clear weathers in, and this one just as an extra special card, which, you know, is quite useful. And to go along from that, Skellige Storm, no longer Skellige only. It's a silver neutral card, and create and play Fog and Rain. So again, if you're melee focused, which I think a lot of decks will be, Skellige Storm is a pretty good pick. You want Clear Weathers to just in case the opponent plays a Biting Frost, and then this can really harm your opponent, which is really nice. So the next special card, we've talked about this a little bit before, Monster Nest. This is a bronze special card for monsters only. Create and play a copy of all units on your side of the battlefield whose descriptions state they are copied by this card. So there's a couple of cards so far. I think there's only actually 2, but they're both bronze cards. You've got the Arachas here. Okay, 2 strength, play all copies of this unit from your deck. When Monster Nest is played, create and play a copy of this unit. Presumably all 3 have the same ability, so all 3 will get duplicated by Monster Nest. And we also have the Nekkers. These are the same thing here. Play all copies of this unit from your deck. When Monster Nest is played, create and play a copy of this. So we've got Musters and Monster Nest combos, okay? So you'll have 3 Arachas on the board, you play the Monster Nest, and then you've got 6. And presumably you could play Monster Nest again and get 12, and play your third one and get 24. But it not only does a row, it does the whole board. So if you've got Arachas and Nekkers on the board, you play Monster Nest when they're both on the board, and you've got 6 Nekkers and 6 Arachas, then 12 Arachas, 12 Nekkers, and then 24 Nekkers, 24 Arachas, presumably. Okay, it's really strong. It does seem very strong, really pushing this Monster Swarm deck. It works well with the leader card that we saw previously, which sets the strength of all things on a particular row to 6. So if you've got loads and loads and loads of these, you set them all to 6. And the same thing with the Nekkers, you could set them all to 6. Only 1 row though. However, we did see that Lacerate ability, which minuses 2 off everything on the row. So if they hold out for the Arachas and you've got 24 of them on a row, they could easily lacerate you and they're all dead. Okay, so very strong this Monster Nest, but you have to be very careful about wounding and getting destroyed via wounding to do with the Arachas. And Geralt, I've had a little brief look at all the cards already, and there is a lot of wounding coming in. So it is very powerful theoretically, but there seems like it's going to go downhill really quickly. And let me show you another example. It leads on to the next card. Stammelford's Tremors. Okay, so this is a bronze neutral card, apparently special card as well. Remove 2 strength from all non-gold units on the opponent's side of the battlefield. So I think a lot of people agree that this should be a silver card. Okay, there's no reason for this to be a bronze card. It's just a way better version of Lacerate. So, you know, it's going to be silver. You can guarantee that. Maybe gold, but I doubt it. Remove 2 strength from all non-gold units on the opponent's side of the board. So it only targets your opponents, which is great. I mean, if it was just your, you know, the whole board, both yours and your opponent, then maybe I could see it being bronze. But just your opponents, it needs to be silver. And that would decimate all the Arachas and the Nekkers nearly at the same time. So Stammelford's Tremors is like a clear counter to the Monster Nest, as well as Lacerate. So Monster Nest is pretty good, but I'm starting to feel like wounding's becoming such a big deal that it's going to be less effective and very hard to use. But we'll see. I've already kind of gone over Stammelford's Tremors. It should be silver. It's a very powerful ability if the opponent is going on loads of different rows. But at the minute, there's no reason not to take this over the Lacerate, apart from this is epic and Lacerate wasn't. But hopefully that's not an issue, because that's clear power creep just based on opening card packs. And so this should definitely be a silver. But Nature's Gift, this is a returning one. It's nice to see that it's silver. We had a little discussion on this on one of the podcasts that I did. It's a Scorch silver special card. And create and play a copy of the last special card played. So it's very similar to what it used to do, but now it's really powerful because there's mega powerful special cards now. So it can play whatever the last one played was. So it could be something as simple as a Monster Nest, which is probably bad for you since you're playing Scorch. Although it could do gold ones as well. So you could get things like Ragnarok coming out. I think that is actually the only gold special card so far. Probably won't be that useful because unless it's round transition, you probably don't want to flood the board with all weather effects. But yeah, you know, you could pull out things like the decoy. You could reuse a decoy. That'd be really powerful because the decoy is a powerful card advantage, and you stall the turn. And this allows you to basically play another one, providing the opponent doesn't use a special card. So there might be some counter strategy on the opponent's side of the board. If you're fighting Squirtle, they use a decoy, anticipate a Nature's Gift, and try and interrupt it with a Biting Frost or something like that, which will be useless for the opponent. So there's some strategy. I like it. Perfect. You know, give Squirtle a nice bit of strategy that other decks don't have regarding special cards and their ability to use them. And they're going to revolve around special cards quite a bit, I can see. So the next special card is Swallow Potion. This is a bronze neutral special card, and it's starting to introduce potions now. This was an idea of someone in the forums quite a while ago, and it seems to have come about. Choose a non-gold unit on the battlefield and add 10 strength to it. Okay, 10 strength is a lot of strength. It might be Scorch bait, but I mean, non-gold, I think you can get certain cards up to, you know, reasonably 12, 15, some of the stronger ones. If you just take it from the Manticore, which is 11 strength silver, then this will take it up to 21. Obviously, that's a huge Scorch bait. 10 strength is, there's nothing particularly amazing about 10 strength. There's no, as far as I can see, there's no, oh my god, such amazing play with Swallow Potion. It's just going to be, okay, 10 strength, that's good. Maybe you can combo Commander's Horn to double it to 42 or something for the Manticore example. Pretty decent. Now, one thing to say about potions, and we've got more potions coming up. All the witches seem to... it says down here, play Vesemir and Lambert from your deck. That's fine. Potion cards played on this unit are 1.5 times more effective. Okay, so feasibly, a Swallow Potion will give Eskel 15 strength. Okay, because it's 1.5. So he can go to 20, which is huge actually. That is huge numbers. Now, I believe Geralt also has this type of effect on his card. So here we have Geralt. He's now 12 strength, but potion cards played on this unit are 1.5 times more effective. And the same for Geralt Igni. At the bottom there, potion cards played on this unit are 1.5 times more effective. We'll go over these cards more in the neutral video, but this is a gold card, so Swallow Potion can't work on that card. It only says non-gold, but that kind of indicates we are going to see golden potion type special cards. Or they're just like covering their backs a little bit because adding it to gold cards is just going to be inherently strong. So, but yeah, actually a pretty strong card. Works really well with Witcher style things. So far, the Witcher's the only thing that I've seen which, you know, duplicate potion special cards in some way. But I've yet to see and look at absolutely all the cards. So maybe we'll see some in the future. We've got another special card now, which is also a potion. Thunderbolt Potion, a bronze neutral special card. Choose a non-gold unit on the battlefield and add 4 strength to all copies of it on the same side. So again, it doesn't affect the opponent if you add it to yourself. This is going to be good for mustery decks, so the monsters might feel like it's good to do. Especially if you've got all the Arachas out. If you manage to keep them out, you can add +4 to all of them, which is nice. So put them up to 6, add +4, they're all 10. 24, 10 strength, that's 240 strength. Alright, I'm getting out of hand there because that was obviously a super power play. Yeah, it's a reasonable card, I think. It looks like it kind of did what the mushrooms used to do. We don't know the order of operations on Thunderbolt Potion. You know, will it get reduced by weather effects or will it go afterwards? I'm starting to think that I'd like it to go afterwards because, you know, it's a potion the person has drank. You know, it should still be in their system, but I got the feeling it will still get affected by weathers, but we don't know. That's something we've got to check during closed beta. So, reasonable card. It fits into a slot where you want to buff up loads of small minions, which will work quite well. But again, don't forget, witches get more strength. The thing about Vesemir, Lambert, and Eskel here is they don't have the same name, so this is not going to work on them. Because they've all got to have the same, it's got to be the same copy of a card. So that was one thing that was a bit iffy with promotion as well. It didn't really work on this muster because they're all different names. So got to be careful with that one when you're picking that particular combo. Right, Adrenaline Rush. We went over this quite not too long ago actually. I was able to show it to you. It's changed slightly, or at least the wording on this particular Gwent databases. The wording seems really good now, so I'm going to read this one as if it's changed, but I'm not entirely sure. The bronze neutral card, okay, and it's special. Choose a non-gold unit and keep it on the battlefield at the end of this round. Now the difference being this round. This is the previous card that I was able to show you, and it says choose a non-gold unit and keep on the battlefield at the end of each round. So this and each is a big difference, okay? So this one means that it's resilient until removed, basically adding the ability on, whereas this one means that it only stays on for one particular round. So, you know, the difference is quite a big deal actually. It actually has made this card, if this text is correct, made this card slightly worse. I don't know how many people would take it just for the 1 round transfer. I guess it is reasonably good if you lose round 1 and then you win round 2 with some resilient using this. Then you go on to round 3 with some really nice stuff. Or it's really going to be used to target the big things so that you can carry them over and maybe you can go a bit more all in. And the opponent has to work a little bit harder to beat you. But it's definitely worse than it was a few days ago when I showed it. But I don't know. I don't know. I still really like the Odrin combo because he's going to flutter around the rows, giving +1 strength to everyone. But he only stays on for 1 round. I guess if the next round you could use it again. But that's a lot of cards, I feel, for just transferring. But I guess, you know, instead of replaying a card on round 2, you just play the card on round 1 and it just transfers over. So I think the card amount you have to use in order to transfer units over is pretty much the same, isn't it, really? But you're using more turns in the previous round, like the prize winning cow, you know, rather than on the round afterwards. We have the Last Wish. So this is now a silver card. I don't know why, but my voice just went really high, but that's not what I was going to say. I don't know why, but I really feel like CD Projekt Red is really listening to us. All the changes that we were kind of discussing, oh, this is not too good, I don't really like this. Like Last Wish, we kept saying it was a golden card. It's a bit, for a golden card. Now it's a silver neutral, okay? So draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard. So very much the same, but now it's a silver card. It has more use. Okay, it's not as competitive. It's not taking a slot, which is really good for something else. Could be used. I still think that Skellige really own this card a lot. They're going to utilize it in much better ways. But Scoia'tael have seemingly got some things going on with discarding into the graveyard. Maybe something to do with special cards as well. I think they might have something like every time something is discarded, spawn a neophyte. We'll see in later videos if that's true. And our final special card is the Commander's Horn. This hasn't changed since the build, but maybe people weren't really aware of it. So it's a silver neutral card. Choose a row on your side of the battlefield and double the strength of all non-gold units on it. Now, I was actually surprised it's silver. It might have been bronze in the Kill the Stress Test server, but Kill the Server Stress Test. But yeah, it's a silver now, and so it actually is quite strong, doubles their strength. Being silver and neutral is obviously fine, but it doesn't talk about glyphs, so it's not going to use the glyphs. It's not passive. It's going to be, you need to get your units on the board first and then use it, which carries a risk reward to it, which is something people might not have known. They knew Dandelion did it, but Dandelion actually played this card, so this is the card that is actually a one-time use. So another card which has remained relatively unchanged, but has seen also a promotion from bronze to silver, is Scorch, which is huge. Has massive ramifications. So everyone can really only have 1 Scorch in their deck now, which is a big deal. It means that on the whole, everyone can play a little bit more liberally. They don't have to protect from Scorch as much, because if you've baited out 1 Scorch, that's pretty much all they're going to have. Now, obviously, you can have cards like Villain, Tret and Mirth and Geralt, Igni, which do Scorch in some fashion, in some sense. Scoia'tael could use Nature's Gift to duplicate this card after it's played. You know, there's several ways, but for the most part, most decks will only run 1 of these particular cards. So that's a huge deal. It also seems like Weathers and Wounding are the main ways to reduce the opponent's strength and destroy cards from the board. because this is silver and there's only one of these in a deck, that leader card in the previous video, Radovid, who was quite a boring one, you know, 10 strength from any card that you choose, he becomes a little bit more viable now because it's harder to remove cards now because Scorch is limited to 1. So removing 10 strength is like almost remove any card from the board that you want, nearly. If it's 10 strength or below, it's remove that card. And it can target gold ones as well. So Radovid's starting to become, you know, pretty interesting. Now, one thing that I want to point out to do with Scorch is that Epidemic is still a bronze card. So the developers obviously thought that Epidemic, destroying the weakest non-gold units on the battlefield, is not as important as removing the strongest. So the weakest ones, these are things like medics, which have already been used, so it's not that important. You've got prize winning cow, but you'll still get the chort, so it's not that important. You've got things like Havkar and healers, which are like encourage people, but again, their ability has already been used, so it's not that important to Scorch them away. It's harder to use Epidemic, I think, because, you know, most people are going to protect their medium stuff with lower stuff. That doesn't really matter if they get scorched. The main way you use this is they don't protect something and they've got like Mahakaman guards. You can scorch those, or possibly poor infantry. This will be good against. But yeah, Scorch being silver is a huge deal. It's going to really change the way a lot of people are going to play in decks. Now, some people thought that everyone will have a Scorch in their deck. It does take a silver slot now, so it's very, very competitive. Another person that I've talked to recently said that they hope that CD Projekt Red expands the silver slots so you can have more, because things like this are taking up slots and it's really, really competitive now. I think I'll make a video on that separately, that issue. But yeah, I don't think everyone is going to take a Scorch, because generally it's worth about 12 to 14 strength, I would say. Either you're going to Scorch something which is really, really strong, like the Giant Toad, which has the ability to get up to about 13 or something. Or you're going to Scorch several medium ones, something like the Redenian Knights, which are 7 strength. You get 2 of them on the board, that is Scorch bait, and that is effectively just 14 strength you've Scorched. So this is worth about 12 to 14 strength, and other silver cards can fill that role. So it's not necessary that you'll always take the Scorch, in my opinion, but I think a lot of people still will. So there are all the special cards, which I'm going to show you in this video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to discuss. We've got more stuff coming up, and after I've finished the whole lot, I'll do a sort of recap, and now we can really start getting into deck building for the closed beta, because these are the cards which are going to be in the closed beta. It has been confirmed, and we can really get into making tutorials and strategies based on what's going to happen in closed beta. So super exciting time for us, guys. I'll see you in the next video, which I'm going to focus on neutral cards, okay, and the changes that have affected them. Take care, guys.